All right, here we go. And let me just share my screen and we're going to get started. All right, perfect. You should be able to see my screen now. Please let me know in the chat if you cannot. And we're going to get started. All right, perfect. My name is Olga St Pierre. I am a senior real estate living specialist with Keller Williams Real Estate. I've been doing this and working with primarily with seniors and their family members for the last 15 years. Just a little bit about us and what we do and what we're passionate about. Our team mission is to help everyone's dream of owning a home become true. And then once you're there, we are there alongside of you, helping you be sustainable and responsible homeowners. We do have a complete move solution for our seniors and their families from start to finish. We help you think things through and coordinate everything, and to make it as easy as possible. As you can imagine, when you live in your home for over 20, 30, or 40 years, just thinking about making a move can be extremely challenging. And our goal is to make it as stress-free as possible for you. And part of that, what we offer, and I make it available to everyone absolutely free of charge, is our concierge service. Think of that as yellow pages, which, as you know, dwindles down more and more with each year. Yet our goal is to help you and provide you with reputable contractors, professionals, anyone that you can think of to help you make your life easier. Or if you are in the process of thinking about making a move, anyone that can help you with that decision, we probably have a recommendation for you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to help you and to guide you and to provide you with resources to make sure that you get the information that you need, because everyone's life journey and the next destination is different. All right, so where and why are we talking about senior moving? Well, in all the years of experience that I have, and this is why 5 years ago I became more involved in providing the information for our local community through these workshops, is because working with seniors and doing a senior move when you have been in your home for 30, 40 years is extremely stressful. And this, the process and the questions and the information that I'm going to share with you is a result of us working with so many families and helping them make this decision as stress-free as possible. Moving is one of life's top 10 stressors. So if you think about it, it is just about on the same level as being sick, a loved one passing away, getting a divorce, losing a job. These are all very stressful things that a lot of us have to deal with, and making a move is on the same level. And when you are as a senior, or if maybe you are here because you have a loved one that you're trying to help out, with a senior move, at some point, the things that we love the most, and which this is why we chose to do this, is where those things are not great anymore. The yard is too big, the steps are too steep, there's just too many rooms to clean in the house, and then there's too much stuff that comes into our home every day. There's different priorities, there's health challenges, there's new decisions that are now need to be made, and this change is very stressful. Sometimes there's a feeling of loneliness, there's a feeling of helplessness and frustration, and definitely overwhelm. And this is why a lot of people sometimes just throw up their hands and say, you know what, will deal with it later. Or, you know what, I'm just going to stay at home and they will carry me out in the box when I'm done making a difference on this earth. I've heard all different kinds of variations of that language. So today, my goal for you with this workshop is to give you an overview and give you some things to think about. And as many of you do know and are familiar with my recommendations, is one of the first things that I'm going to recommend to you is to designate a notebook to your decision-making process. When you're trying to make a decision, should I move? I'm thinking about this, my health is starting to decline, what can I do? A notebook and a pen or a pencil and a highlighter is going to be your best friend, because the research has proven that when you are jotting down notes and you are making lists and you're doing things with a physical pen on paper, the brain is happy. The happy hormones are released because the brain realizes that you are making progress and you are now committing information that it was used to storing to a memory of paper. And that is what is the most important. And the goal is for you to come up with an idea and the plan in your mind, in your head, and then put it down on paper so that way you can then expand on it, make notes, and create that plan. And these are some of the questions that I'm going to ask you to think about, right? This is kind of like your homework. A lot of you are going to laugh, but yes, as part of this workshop, I have some homework for you to help you with your decision-making process. And that's what is going to make things a little bit easier, because I'm giving you a framework to work with, okay? How am I going to feel about my decision? Where am I going? How are my finances? What about the things that I'm taking with me? What about the things that I am not taking with me? Who can help me because maybe I'm by myself? What about my home, my biggest investment that most of us have? And one of the next things that we're going to wrap up with is where do I begin? How do I start? Okay, so this is why having a notebook is important, because there is a lot of notes that you can make, and you can even designate different parts of your notebook for different topics. A part of your notebook could be, okay, my finances. Another section can be, what am I definitely taking with me? What do I need to give to my family? Who do I need to talk to, and what documents I need, as an example. So having a notebook is extremely important. So that's your number one homework, okay? So let's talk through some of these questions that I put in front of you in the previous slide. I invite you to have an open mind and to think about making a move as a positive experience, because most of us think about this as a daunting, overwhelming mountain that just sits in front of us, and we have no idea what to do with it and where to start. I invite you to think about your move as making a right-sizing move and not downsizing move. Because what you're doing is that, let's say that the house that you're in right now has a lot of memories for you, and we totally understand that, because perhaps you raised your family here and you remember when your kids were running around and this was a perfect house for you at the time. And that's great. Yet now the same house is just too big for you. So what you're going to do is make a decision about, is this house still fits my needs and where I am in my life journey, or it's actually hindering my plans? So again, what you're trying to do is make a right size move for you. You're not just moving, you are actually moving forward. You're making a decision, saying, you know what, I need to do something better for myself. And I want to make sure that the things that I have and the home that I live in works best for me, where I'm at today and where I am going, moving forward. You can also go from fear and worrying to being confident and positive with anticipation, because guess what? This workshop and this workbook is going to give you a game plan. It's going to give you some framework to think about, so that way you now know what you need to decide on, right? I'm giving you a game plan and a checklist, and that is an amazing feeling that you should have by the end of the workshop. You can go from feeling of leaving and loss to appreciating the new life that is going to unfold. And that's what I want you to think about, is the freedom that you're going to have without having the burden of what you have right now. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And I invite you to think about like feeling like you're in a crisis mode because you just don't know, to being open to new opportunities, to knowing that, okay, I know what I need to think about. I know what I need to jot down, and I know who I need to talk to because I am here now and I am doing something about my decision. Okay. So let's talk about where we're going to live. So my goal today is touch upon a couple of topics a little bit to give you some food for thought. And because this is an overview, I do have a full senior series that I dive in deeper into each one of these topics. But I don't want to overwhelm you because this is a 45-minute workshop as an overview, just to give you an idea of what you should be thinking about and some of the questions that you should be asking yourself. So at the end, I'm going to give you a link to our calendar of the other workshops that are coming up. And I invite you to participate and come back and sit through the others. Everything is on Zoom. Everything is free of charge to you, yet the information is going to be invaluable because we're diving in deeper into each one of these questions that I'm sharing here with you. So where am I going to next? Here are some of the suggestions that I have for you. Let's review your options. Number one, think about the desired size of your new home. So let's say if you're by yourself, you're thinking yourself, I would love to have a 1-bedroom. I would like to have a den where I can set up my office, my library, my TV room, and then just a general sitting area and a bedroom. What does that square footage looks like, right? What is that going to make you feel comfortable and confident that you now have your new space, yet it's going to give you the freedom to know that you don't have to clean a 2,000 square foot home. You won't have to care for that. Next up is an area where you want to live in. And the reason why it's so important to think about is because if you are saying to yourself, you know what, I am tired of living with snow and in the cold. I really want to go down south, wherever that may be. It could be Arizona, it could be Texas, it could be Florida. Well, making a move and downsizing in the next town over that's 15 minutes away is a very different planning process than if you're thinking about moving from the East Coast, from the north, going down to Florida. That is 16-hour drive, or it's a 3 or 4 hour flight away. Very different planning. So think about that. Next, the type of your new home. Do you want to be in a community where there is amenities, where you don't have to worry about maybe taking care of the exterior of your home? You don't have to worry about shoveling or cutting grass. And there's also amenities like a pool and a gym, and there's some social activities. Or you say to yourself, you know what, I don't want to have an additional homeowners association monthly payment every month. I just want to be in a smaller space. Could it be in a condo? Or you say, you know what, I don't want to buy anything. I just want to live in the apartment. I just want to rent. This way, if there's a problem, someone else is going to take care of it for me. Or you tell yourself, you know what, I just want to downsize from this big colonial that made sense to me when I was raising my family, yet I still want to be independent and I want to live in my own home. I don't want an HOA because I still enjoy cutting grass and I'm still physically able to do that. I just want to live in a smaller home, and I want this to be just a 1-story. Okay, or maybe a townhouse because you want to have a community feel and something else, where there are some townhouse communities that don't have HOAs. Okay. Next up is an important conversation that you need to have with yourself, is about a level care you may not need now, yet you know better yourself that you may need in the future. So think about your health, and that is the conversation you need to sit down and have with yourself. And this is why a part of your notebook should be designated to your health. Where am I today? And where do I think I'm going to be in 5 to 10 years? Because that may make a difference on the decision on where are you going to go now, because you need to make those plans. So level of care could be where you need assistance with some daily living, right? Maybe light housekeeping, maybe prepping with the meals and cleaning your home, to something a little bit more serious, where you may need also have someone come in and administer medications and help you a little bit more. And this is where we are actually talking about assisted living or independent living, or maybe you're going to need some home care, or at some point as your health deteriorates, it could be long-term care where you may need to be in the community so that way you have access to those resources when you need them on demand. And being in your own home may not be the best option for you. Okay. And then the last one is a big one, I think, for most of us, is where you tell yourself, you know what, I just want to stay in my own home. I'm comfortable here. I have so many memories. It's going to work best for me. And this is where we dive in and say, okay, that's fair. I understand. Yet let's dive in deeper and let's look into it in more details. Is that the best option for you? Ask yourself some questions and also prepare and review and do a home safety assessment, which I have for you as well if you want a copy of it. Because in many cases, once you start really thinking deeper and deeper, staying at home may not be the best option for you. Okay. All right. Here is a bird's eye view on senior living options. And this is what I want you to see, kind of without diving in, because we do that in one of the other workshops where we dive in more detail about what each of these communities and levels of services that are offered. So what I want to invite you to look at is the bottom left-hand corner is going to be the least level of care and the least cost of expense, of investment, in terms of, do I need help and what is it that I'm looking for from being in a certain community. Adult daycare is going to be your least expensive option, where you head to a community like a town square, and you can stay there for half a day or maybe a whole day if you wanted to, or maybe you go there just twice a week. And the idea is to have socialization, have some wellness opportunities, playing, having something to eat, and just socializing with others. That's what the adult daycare is. Then you're heading into an independent living where you're still cooking, you're still doing everything yourself. And you could be maybe in the 55 plus community where you don't want to take care of the snow and grass removal. And then you're going into some of the others where senior apartments are, where you can rent something that is 55 plus as well, where you don't have to worry about exterior maintenance, and you're renting, right? If you don't want to buy anything, you just want to rent. So that's another option. And then we're heading into more of a retirement community. Then we're heading into a personal care at home, where someone comes into your home and helps you with some daily living, maybe reminders for you to take medication. You have availability to get transport to take you to your appointments if driving is going to be a challenge for you. And then we're heading into CCRCs, which are the campuses where you have lots of different options. And then going into, of course, when you're heading to the right and you're heading into the upper right-hand corner, is you have assisted living, where you have memory care, nursing home, and of course, hospice care is where the more care you require, personal as well as medical, the more expensive and cost involved is going to be. This is another great spreadsheet that I found that I'm sharing here with you, where it breaks down what are some of these communities actually offer. So when you make a list of things that you say, you know what, right now, this is where I'm at, and this is what I can potentially need help with. And then you also make another list that say, you know what, based on how I feel, and I know where my health may be in the next 5 years, I may need assistance with these items, and you create another list. And then you create another list for the next 10 years. And I understand that it may be hard to kind of think ahead, and you say, well, how can I know how I'm going to be? Yet you probably have that intuition and you can probably feel it, and you say, you know what, in 10 years, I may need help because I may be in a walker or I may be in a wheelchair, which means that I'm going to need a lot more help than where I'm at today. So if you look at this spreadsheet, which is, I find it very helpful as a visual tool for you to review, again, when we're starting from the left, independent living is going to give you the least amount of amenities, yet there are still some things that are going to be available to you if you want to take advantage of them. And then we're heading into from the left to the right, where it's going to be more costly because there's going to be more amenities and services that are available to you. So I encourage you to review this slide from the comfort of your home when you are thinking about your own situation and making your own plans to decide where I'm at today and looking at it maybe in the increment of 3 years and making a plan for 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and then eventually potentially 10 years from now. Next up is we're talking about finances. And what I can tell you, in my experience in working with seniors for the last 15 years, is that this critical step, if you're going to ask me, Olga, when would you recommend that we do this? Maybe we're not planning on retiring yet, or we're thinking about doing this in a couple years. I can tell you that reviewing your finances and figuring out what you have right now is something that you should be doing today, not tomorrow, not a year before you're ready to make these decisions, because a year from now, or you may not realize that something happens overnight and you suddenly are forced to make some of these decisions, which unfortunately happens quite more often than people realize. Is making decisions when you're forced to make them is the worst possible place that you can do. So the breaking news that I have for you today is that reviewing your finances as soon as possible is the best thing that you can do for yourself, even though you may not have to or need to make these decisions until sometime in the future. Okay, so everything comes down to what you have in terms of your finances and how you can plan for them. So where are the funds that are coming from to help you enter into a community? Let's say that you decide to go into a campus style. A lot of those communities require you to do an upfront cost, and it can be quite substantial. It's sometimes in the 5 and 6 figures. And then you also have a monthly rental cost to be in your apartment. If you had to do something, that's one of the things that I always talk about when we sit down with our clients to say, okay, let's say that today everything is great and you're feeling great. And let's say tomorrow something happened, which could happen. What would happen? What do you think you have now that you have to work with in terms of finances for you to be able to make a decisions on where you're going? Okay. Do you need to sell your current home to buy a new one? Or do you need to sell your current home to be able to go into that new community? Do you know what is the value of your home if you don't have a mortgage? How much money do you have to work with? Okay. If you have a financial advisor, meet with them now, because once you reach a retirement age and you have your nice nest egg, you're going to start drawing money out of that nest egg, which means that the pool of money that you have set aside is going to grow at a lower rate because you're now pulling money out of it. That's what a lot of people don't realize. It's not going to keep growing at the same rate because you're contributing to it. Because first of all, you're no longer are contributing to your pool, your nest egg, and 2, you're starting to draw money from it, which means that your nest egg is going to start to dwindle. Okay, and also you need to determine and say, okay, this is the nest egg that I worked my whole life to collect. How much money do I have and how long is it going to last me? A lot of people don't think about answering that question, and having a financial advisor and an accountant and an attorney are the 3 people that should be on your team to help you make that decision and to figure that out. And it's extremely important because a lot of the times people, once they actually are retired, they regret not having answers or figuring things out when they were making the original plans. Okay. Think about which housing option may be best for you based on your financial decisions. Maybe in the beginning, you're saying to yourself, I'm going to be going with option A. Yet when you look at that bird's eye view of your finances, you realize that you cannot afford your option that you just selected. So what are you going to be your best options B and C? If you need recommendations for an attorney, an accountant and a financial advisor, please don't just pull them out of the yellow pages. Please don't look at the ads in your local newspaper. Don't just go and Google someone. You need to have someone who knows what they're doing. And I can tell you in my experience that just because someone is licensed to practice law does not mean that they know what they're doing. I would probably tell you at least 50 or 60% of them are kind of like a jack of all trades and they dabble a little bit here and there. No, you deserve the best for it's your life, it is your planning, and you want to make sure that the people that you hire for your team are truly going to watch your back, okay? So if you need an attorney, if you need an accountant, if you need a financial advisor, please ask your family, friends, professional organizations for recommendations. Of course, I can also help you and make some of those recommendations as well. Also, when you're talking about finances, if you look on the right side of that slide, here are some things for you to think about. A lot of the times, the services that you're going to need is going to be private pay, which means that that's the money that's coming out of your nest egg. What about your health insurance? Do you think that at some point you may need to do Medicare or Medicaid, which is a state-sponsored program for low income? Well, there is a lot of things that you need to know about Medicaid and how it works, and who is going to help you get through this. Remember, it's a government program, which is, the application and the rules are probably 500 pages long, right? Veterans benefits. This is one of the things that I am very passionate about because my husband just recently retired after almost 30 years in military service. Is a lot of people don't know that there are survivor benefits. There is additional benefits that you can get that are called aid and attendance. There are lots of benefits that are available to veterans that many of them don't know about. And unfortunately, VA administration is not very good about providing those resources and saying, here's everything that is available to you. Thank you for your service. So please let us know if these are some of the questions that you have. As you can tell, this slide is extremely important, and that's part of your homework. When you leave today, please take the time to write some of these things down, because the planning that you're about to embark is going to take you some time to do. So take your time to think through and to make these plans and to jot down your ideas. Next up is the next important piece of this planning is sitting down and having a conversation with your family and friends. It could be a conversation with your significant other. It could be conversation with your siblings. It could be children having conversations with their parents. Whoever it is, the communication with your loved ones is critically important, because if something was to happen to you, how would your family and loved ones know what are your wishes and desires if you cannot communicate with them, if you cannot make those decisions because maybe you are in the hospital? So where would your loved ones find important documents? Your directive, your will, the list of accounts that you have where your funds are saved to be used during your retirement, your digital asset inventory, your insurance information. If you're not able to talk or make decisions for yourself, who is going to be in charge? Who is that power of attorney that you have designated or you would like to designate? Have a conversation with that person. Who is on your team? I already mentioned to you, your team should be your attorney, and that is your estate planning attorney, someone who strictly specializes in just that. It's probate and estate planning attorney, your financial advisor, and your accountant. And also, I want you to think about some of the hardest decisions that you may have to make or your family may need to make, and those are your wishes. If you are in the hospital and you are in a coma, how long do you want to be kept on life support? That's one question. And the second question is when you pass away, would you like to be an organ donor? So those are the two questions that I invite you to jot down and to think about. And I know that it's difficult to think about something like that because it is morbid, yet at the same time, it is just something that you need to make a decision on and to write it down and to make your wishes known. Just think of that as just part of your checklist for when you are preparing for this journey in your golden years. Next up, let's talk about your personal things. And I can tell you with 100% certainty that 100% of you are not realizing just how many things you have accumulated in your home since you moved in there. That's what most people just don't realize. And when you start going through it and realizing and deciding, I am going to take this, but I'm not going to take that, it is a lot. It is extremely overwhelming. So if you need help with someone who can help you with organizing, if you need assistance with maybe getting some boxes down and going through things, please let me know. We go through this all the time. It is one of the first things that we recommend when we're working with seniors, is starting to go through personal things and trying to decide what is coming with us and what is not going with us. And then sorting things, right? There has to be some kind of order. And this is something that we talk about in our declutter class, where we're talking about things that we're going to keep, items to donate, things maybe we need to sell because they are antiques or valuables, things that we're just going to throw and donate. And then the last category is making sure that we get all of our important papers all organized for when we make that move. So again, if you need some recommendations, please join us. I teach the declutter class every month like a clockwork because it's so important. And if you need some suggestions, if you need a little pep talk or some advice, this is definitely a good workshop to attend. We always have a really good attendance and crowd. And who is going to help me from start to finish? Think about the fact that if you're by yourself, or if your loved ones live far away, don't get discouraged, because there are people that are there to help you, right? It does take a village, and there are various people that are available to help you. You can find someone who is like a senior move manager that we can make a recommendation for. They are like, think of that as like a general contractor who, again, has people that can help with back and forth. Your real estate agent like myself that has that concierge service where we say, okay, if you need an organizer, here, let's call Cindy because she's amazing and she can help you get through things, right? So moving company, contractors, packers, cleaners, anyone else that you can think of is here part of this service to help you make your decision process as easier as possible and less stressful. That's what the concierge service and our list of recommendations is available for you. And don't worry, because you're going to have quite a few things that you're not going to take with you. And here's what I can tell you with, again, 100% certainty, is that those people that got rid of more things than they're taking with them were so happy because there was such a big weight off of their shoulders. So we can help you with items to make arrangements for things to be sold, to be donated, to be removed. My recommendation to you, again, start doing this sooner than later, and start with furniture, because furniture is most of the time the hardest to get rid of. Okay, so if you need some suggestions and if you have questions about it, please let us know. But at least start making a list of some of the things to say, well, this furniture I'm not taking because it's destroyed by my dogs or my cats, or it's too big. Let's start with that first, and then work our way down to smaller things that are a little bit more manageable in terms of space that they occupy. And there is no better time than to figure out what is your biggest asset is currently worth, especially with the last couple of years that we've had of increasing prices, which means that you might be surprised of the equity that you have in your home. And knowing what your home is worth is going to help you make plans and give you some peace of mind, knowing that you have a good pool of money to work with, believe me. So there is no better time than today, even though you may not be moving for 5 years, is to say, you know what, I just need to know how my neighborhood is doing, what can I expect when I am ready to go, and what is my home worth right now. Okay, so that's what we talk about. It is, it's an appointment, or we can do a Zoom. I talk to clients all the time, because being kept up and knowing the equity in your home and what is your biggest asset worth on a regular basis is one of the most important things that you can do. And it's just something quick and easy. I keep my clients posted on what is happening in their neighborhood and the value of their home on a monthly and a quarterly basis, because that's how important I believe it is. So if you are on this workshop because you are assisting a loved one during this transition phase, here are some additional information for you, kind of like a small checklist that I recommend that you do to help you keep things in perspective, as well as being helpful to your loved one, right? So you can create this sort of like a senior network map. Who are the meaningful people that are in your loved one's life? Who are these people that maybe you can reach out to and say, hey, I am here for my mom, I'm here for my dad. I just want you to know I'm here in case if you notice something. Maybe their mental health is starting to decline. Maybe you notice some physical challenges. Please let me know. I'm here. Here's my contact information. All right. So, and also knowing who these people are is important, because removing those people from our loved one's life could also affect them as well. And you just kind of need to understand what that means. So here's a conversation timeline that you can take a look at and think about if this is relevant and how can you apply in your own situation. So this was a senior making a move. I'm starting to think about things overview. Okay, so here is where I invite you to take advantage of all the resources that we have and we have accumulated over the years in working with seniors. Number one, you can head over to this link. It's called Senior Resources Library, where you can get free guides, checklists, and other things that I'm happy to share with you at absolutely no charge, either email to you or we can mail it to you, whatever your preference. We have other senior workshops in our senior series where we talk about living options in more details. We talk about aging in your own home, staying in your home, and how can you make that happen, avoiding scams, decluttering stress-free, and when you're ready to make that move and your home needs to be sold, what is that going to take and how do we make it as stress-free as possible? Okay, and then the upcoming schedule for all of our workshops is always at Live with Olga. You can give us a call, we can sign you up. Whatever it is that we can do to make you feel comfortable and to help you with this decision-making process, that's what we're here for. And all of our webinars are recorded and they're all housed on YouTube, which means that you can go back and rewatch this workshop because it is being recorded, as well as all of the other workshops. At Home with Olga is the YouTube channel. And my personal contact information is here as well, that you will get when you receive the workbook. Please don't hesitate to reach out. You can call me, you can email me, you can text me. I answer my phone, and I am happy to talk to you about your situation if you would like to do that in private. So this is what I have to share with you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I know either we have some questions or there are some other things. So let me see what I got. Okay. Alice, Linda, thank you. I have your contact information. Eugene, I have your email. Thank you. Paulette, I have yours. Sue as well. Thank you. And we just listed the upcoming webinars link that you can either click. And of course, we're also going to have that information for you as well. All right. What questions do you have? I know that we talked about a lot, and I don't want you to think that I don't want you to have your head spinning because it is a lot. The goal is just to take the time and to work through one item at a time. And this is why having a notebook is so important. I have notebooks for different things that I do, whether it's my business or my personal or my family. You're welcome to unmute yourself, or you're welcome to type it in the chat as well. Yes, Gloria, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay. So I heard you mention clients. So what does that mean? What do you do? Do you work for a fee? How does this happen?
My profession is I am a real estate agent. I'm a senior real estate living specialist. That's what I do, right? I have my real estate license and I help clients make the plans and advise them through providing them with the resources and then eventually help them sell their home. That's what I do. And part of offering these community workshops is providing you with the information and the resources that you may need for when you make your move. My concierge service and recommendations and resources are absolutely free of charge.
Okay, so not everybody you work with actually sells their home with you.
And that's okay. If you choose to go that route, that is fine. I just want you to feel comfortable knowing that you have all the resources at your disposal so that way you can make the best decision.
Okay, sounds good. What are you going to send us now? You said before in the beginning you were going to send us something.
I'm sending you a copy of the workbook that I shared on the screen. So you
Oh,
have that as your guide, as well as the copy of the recording of this workshop.
okay, thank you. It's very helpful.
My pleasure. Thank you, Gloria. Anybody else has anything else that they want to maybe ask or clarify? So looking at our upcoming workshop schedule, we have declutter class is coming up on February 20th. So if you wanted to sign up for that, we have a class for figuring out about making a move and selling your home on March 12th. Another declutter class, we have a scam class for seniors coming up on March 26th. So lots of things. Lots of things that are happening. Gloria, I just sent you a quick message. If you can take a look. I hope that you found this information helpful. As an overview, the workbook packs a lot of information, but my goal is to kind of give you some food for thought to help you with your overall decision-making process. All right, Sue is asking, will you suggestions provide options for people who do not want to get rid of their pets? Yes, because if you are thinking, like, for example, I have a client now who is looking at some senior living communities, and a lot of them allow to have pets. You can bring your pet with you. If you're living in an independent living home where it's just a 55 plus community, some of them do have restrictions on the number of pets that you can have. Sometimes they may say it's one cat or one dog or maybe two dogs. So that's the kind of restriction they may have, but most of them do allow pets. Oh, you have many? Okay. Thank you, Eugene. Sue, that might be just a conversation we need to have so I can point you in the right direction for sure. Of course. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure who BECL is or how to pronounce your name. My apologies, but I just sent you a response as well. And Sue, I'll reach out to you. I have your email. So I'll reach out to you and then we can talk a little bit more about your pets because it may make a difference on what are some of your options as well. All right, anybody else has anything else that they want to ask or maybe add? Or even if there's something that you have done that you found helpful that maybe you want to share with others, that would be great. So Paulette is asking with the high interest rates, if purchasing a new home in the 55 plus community is feasible for someone in their mid 70s. Absolutely. What I can tell you is that I always recommend focusing on what makes sense to you as your next home in your life journey, because interest rates are not forever. We are predicting that their interest rates are going to go down. Some of them are starting to be seen in like sixes, which is the average overall since they started tracking the interest rates since 1970s. So the goal is to get you in the best living space that works for you today. And once the rates come down, you can always refinance. I never suggest and say think about and getting attached to interest rates. Interest rates you can always refinance and bring your interest rate down. I actually had a couple of clients that are shopping right now who are in their mid 70s and they're looking forward to downsize. They don't want to be in the community. They want to be in their own home, just a one story. And that's what we're going to be working. That's what we're working on now. What else? What else is on your mind? Arlene, aren't you in the community already? You moved, right? You need to unmute yourself first. Otherwise, we can't hear you. Or the bottom left-hand corner, if you just click on the microphone button. Let me see if I can do that. Do you see a little microphone button at the bottom of your screen, bottom left, where it says mute or stop video? Sue suggested that you can just use your mouse to go to the bottom of the screen, and it's all the way to the left where you have your mute button. If you hover over at the bottom, it's going to give you different options that Zoom offers. Thank you, Sue. Do you see different options? No? Okay. So do you use a mouse or do you use a pad on you have a mouse? Okay. So if you use a mouse and you go all the way to the bottom of your screen, like it's the bottom of your page, right? And if you just hover over, you will be able to, the Zoom is going to pop up with different options.
I got you back.
Oh.
I didn't have you. I lost you before.
Hi, there you go. You moved to a community, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any feedback or any helpful information that maybe you can share with others?
Oh, no, it's wonderful. It's very nice. I'm living here 18 years.
Okay.
So I'm very pleased, and I don't even want to move, which is one of the reasons, going to this seminar today was helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Considering it because my children all moved to Florida, and I'm here
Okay.
alone.
So but then being in the community, you always have help available if you need anything, right?
Yes. Yes. It's just that, it's hard to rely upon other people. At our age, everybody's not well and has all kinds of aches and pains and diseases. So, but it's a nice community, and I have actually an exercise class that I go to. We used to do it in the clubhouse, but since COVID, we do it on Zoom. So I've met some nice people, and it's nice here, and I love my home.
All right, great.
And in my past life, I was a stager, and I did virtual staging and work
Okay.
with realtors.
And you know what? I do that too. If the houses are empty, I definitely do that.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. All right. Well, anybody else has anything else that they want to add?
When is your next workshop? Did you say?
The next one. I'm having a hard time believing it's already almost the end of January. So let me see. We have the next one for seniors on February 20th,
Oh, okay,
which is a declutter class.
okay.
But we will send you the link to the workshop schedule that I'm looking at as well, that you can check out as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I appreciate all of you that you are taking the time to learn more and to kind of figure out where you are at in your life journey. And again, if there's anything that I can do for you and help you with any kind of resources, please don't hesitate. I will try and reach out to you in the next few days as well by either phone call or email, just so that way you know that I'm here and we're happy to help you.
Thank
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Of course. And Alice, will the workbook have detailed information on moving out of state, I think, and looking for home? If you have some specific questions, because this is the overview, I don't dive in deeper into it. I'm more than happy to give you some resources and point you in the right direction. So we can definitely talk a little bit later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. I had a wonderful time. I hope that you learned something as well. And I hope to see you again on our next workshop. And take care and stay healthy. This weather is interesting for sure. So stay healthy. I think that's the most
Thank you very
important
much.
thing. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye now.